Good morning. So I'm reading the news that I usually read this morning, and I see where there's something called soft powers that the Wall Street Journal, one of their commentators, is complaining that they are losing soft powers in China. And then the commentator lists a few companies that are being affected by the tariffs. I'm not a fan of tariffs. However, I am a fan of honesty. And let's be honest about these few companies that he mentioned. Nike, Apple were the two that came right up into my mind. And he also mentioned Tesla. We'll get to Tesla in a moment. Apple and Nike. Apple and Nike. Where are their products made? Oh yeah, China. So the article's essence was that the Chinese people were starting to move away from American products. Then they tried to tie in imports to these three major ones that they mentioned, Apple and Nike. So Apple and Nike's products are created, manufactured in China. And we're going to have tariffs on them. So the writer of this article is worried that the companies are losing profits from the manufacture of products in China. Seems like the only ones that are going to lose profit here are the big companies, Nike and Apple. I have an Apple phone. I have an Apple computer. I have an Apple iPad. I'm not anti-Apple. I'm anti-falsehoods. If you want to claim that these imports, which are not imports, are no longer going to China, well, let's be honest. Those aren't imports. If they're made in China and they're sold in China, the tariffs aren't affecting them. Be honest. That's all. Just be honest. Okay, the big company's going to lose some money. And I'm not anti-big company. I think if you're a big company and you're making a profit, more power to you. I have money in the stock market through my 401k. I don't want to see it fall any further, but this is the last of the Ubora, Rwanda. The next Ubora is the Sumatra. But let's be honest. What's happening is they're losing their Chinese market share on a Chinese product. That's not really going to affect me. What might affect me is if they bring some jobs to America. That might affect me. Of course, at my age, I'll probably finish this career that I'm in right on out to the end. But don't confuse the issue by saying, by somehow insinuating that we're losing money in America because the Chinese people are no longer buying Apple or Nike. The products are made there. The raw materials, I don't know where they come from, but the manufacturing jobs are right there in China. I'm assuming that the raw materials are not coming from America. Again, slave ships don't look like slave ships anymore. They look like container haulers, container what do you call them? Ships, the container ships. That's what a slave ship is now. Just because we're offshoring slave labor doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You'll never guess where I think it is. Tesla. How big's the market share of Tesla cars in China? I'm guessing it's minuscule. I'm guessing it's not very big. I think that if you're going to put out this kind of anti-Trump, anti-tariff, anti-protectionism hit piece or spin, whatever you want to call it, you need to be honest. This one was, excuse me, this one was quite clear. This one was very blatant. And for those of you who didn't see through that, you need to step back and ask yourself if you're buying in to a little too much of the Democratic propaganda or the Republican propaganda if you bought it wholesale. This was a piece of news that wasn't worthy of being used on the bottom of a birdcage. So back in the day, they used to have this thing called a newspaper. Okay, you get the idea. I'm not going to put my phone underneath the bird. Anyway, that rubbed me the wrong way this morning. It's Tuesday. I was off yesterday. Had a pretty good day. Had a pretty good weekend. 3-day weekend is always nice. Sometimes you got to recharge your batteries. That's what I did. And now it's on to work. I got one friend who told me that I say good coffee too much, but you know what? That's good coffee. It's got just a... So my grinder grinds up the coffee by time. It's in this hopper back here. And I think it's 26 seconds worth of grind gives me 6 cups of coffee, which is a cup and a half of this. So I missed the last 6 seconds of Rwanda ran out. So put the Sumatra in the last 6 seconds of 26 seconds is Sumatra coffee. I don't know the weights. I don't care what the weights are. I'm not that much of a coffee fanatic where I'm going to start weighing beans. I do know this is pretty good coffee, and I'm going to see how that Sumatra tastes on its own tomorrow. Hoping I like it. Tried to pick up the pace of my speech. So I got one buddy who's telling me, don't say it's good coffee so much. Good coffee. I got another buddy who's telling me, you talk too slow. So I'm trying to talk a little quicker. Or not. I'm still going to drink my coffee. It is Rambling with Joe. I guess the weekend ones I should call it Babbling with Joe. Had a rough week last week. That's why I took Monday off. I woke up every day with the right attitude, I think. I would wake up and I would look at the day and I'd say, all right, here we go, gonna do this. And then I'd get kicked right in the teeth. Just things going wrong. Everybody has a day occasionally. Occasionally everybody has a week. Hopefully you have fewer bad days and bad weeks than you have good days and good weeks. I have a good job, so I'm hoping that this week runs a little smoother. How much of it was to my own, how much of the bad week was my own fault, I'm not sure. Probably a majority of it. I mean, it's all about attitude. Something goes wrong, straighten it up, move on. And I was having problems moving on. So this week, I'm hoping that when I face a problem, I recognize it as a problem. I solve the problem, and I move on. And the golf traffic in Augusta, Georgia is gone, so those few 15, 20 minutes of me leaving Augusta this week is going to be a lot easier. Well, I think that's all I have this morning. It's going to be a quickie. I mean, if I talk quicker, if I talk faster, then hey, you get shorter podcasts. Maybe that's better for everybody. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, see ya.